How did you guys acquire the skills you needed? Did you have a mentor or a coach that you leaned on, and how did that kind of shape your journey having someone who's been there before?
Yeah.
It was from the very beginning. I started in real estate. I started working the front desk of this prestigious real estate company. And Jeff came in as a rookie agent. And from the very beginning, he came in and he's, who's going to be my mentor? Where do I travel? What do I do? Who am I going to model my business after? And immediately the broker said, Mike Ferry's who you want. And he's in California. And so Jeff was gone for, were you gone 3 months?
I went to
I can't remember.
Tim Wood. Anybody knows Tim Wood that's in Big Bear, California. I spent 3 months with Tim Wood selling real estate for his Coldwell Banker franchise. That was the biggest one in town. And he gave me a condo right on the water. I remember every day getting onto the water on the lake, snowing like crazy. I'd be out on the boat dock. People thought I was crazy. I was like, man, I love this because I was a ski instructor in college. And so I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And we listed like 90 properties that year. In those 3 months, I was listing properties with him on the phones, dialing for dollars, doing what realtors do in regards to procuring business. And now it's the same thing in our business now, is that after going to the capital school with Tim, and I'm now one of the newest partnerships is someone that I've known for 30 years with Duke, but I hadn't called him in forever. So I just called him and said, hey, what are you doing? And we started talking and meeting. And then all of a sudden, that's how we're starting to do this EB5 program and in regards to our next step of investment stuff. And partnerships have always been important because I was a national sales manager. I traveled for a living. I was Nebraska, down to Texas, Louisiana to New Mexico. That was my territory. And before it was Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. And so I just migrated to Texas and I wanted to be in DFW because my uncle who came here in the 50s said, you know what? Arlington, Texas, oh, it's such a small little town. You're going to love it there. He flew B-1 bombers in World War II and came and flew to Carswell Air Force Base from Virginia Beach. They would bomb Arlington in South Arlington, and then they would fly over to Carswell, and then they party and come back to Arlington and party downtown. Remember Junior, Uncle Junior? He's gone now.
But we have always had a mentor. I think for us, it was so critical that we had a third party accountability partner, someone that watched over us, and at the same time, someone that was very tough on us because he was like, you're the wife. What do you want to do? Where are your goals? Where do you see yourself? What are you contributing to the business? These were hardcore questions that we had to answer. And that's how we shaped our business. And that's how everything came together because of that strong foundation.
Fantastic. Yeah. I love to see how other people navigate having a mentor and how it pushes them to get to where they're at now. And I know that obviously you guys have a long history in single family. And so I'm curious from both of you, what's the transition been like? Jeff, I know you're doing that office building deal and the transition from what you were comfortable with getting more into syndications and capital raising and commercial real estate. What's that been like? And what have you guys kind of had to overcome and how have you navigated that? Since I know many people on this call either do single family or started there.
That's the challenge right now. It's not been easy. It's not been just turn on a switch and go. You know, what we were talking about with our previous mentor, he told me one of the biggest motivators, and I would suggest this for anybody in the group, if you really want to be accountable for something, write a $10,000 check.
Oh,
Remember this one? Yeah, write a $10,000 check to the person that you hate the most. Who you hate the most. If you don't accomplish those goals in the next 90 days, hitting all your KPIs, all of your metrics, you don't hit those goals, that check will be cashed.
That's pretty good motivation, I'd say.
Let me just say, the Democrat Party did not receive my check. And I bought 37-unit apartment building by calling direct to owners, which I had done every investment we've ever done and have been direct to owner, except maybe two that were from agents that knew us and said, Jeff, I know you buy houses. Here's a house. I want you to look at it and see if it's something Mackie and other people have referred us people. And so they're like, hey, this person's in a world of hurt. Are you interested in this project? And I would look at it and I'd say, okay, do the numbers make sense? Does the rehab make sense? Where do we stand? I knew I was going to keep it and rent it. That's the only way I bought them. I got rid of all the oddball ones, the 311s and the 411s. You don't do those. 322, 422, that's the easiest rentals, and that's the easiest way to do it. But the transition has been, now I'm calling 25 people a day out of my phone, just like Tim said, hey, do this, follow this. And I can tell you, it's amazing. We have been so inundated doing deals, not always had enough time to always call back our past clients and customers. Our customers are fantastic. They help us become who we are. They're calling us now and saying, hey, my dad died and need to sell a house. I looked at the house and I say, okay, I think we can do this deal, or I'll sell it. And if I don't buy it, I'll sell it in short minute. And I think we sold one house 3 times in the last week because one investor bought it but didn't do their deal. Next one came up, didn't do their deal. Last one did. And so that one closes tomorrow. And my point is
Awesome.
that those are the kind of deals the people are calling now are saying, hey, I need to invest my money because they've made money. Now I need write-off. And I know you talked about this many years ago because that's really been my whole thing is if we made $100 or $200 or $300, whatever the number was, I knew at the end of the year when because the houses kept appreciating. Some of those houses I bought for $50,000. Some of them I bought from $150,000. Those are worth 3 times more on average. Some 5 times more. That's that time value of money and just being in the market that period of time. I've always read, if you're the main man, you're going to be in it for the long haul. And I don't buy anything that I'm not interested in doing for at least 20 years. That's just the way I've always thought. If I'm not going to do it, if I'm going to have problems with it, I don't want it. I'll just sell it to somebody else and let them deal with it. If I really want that deal, I'm going to be in it for 20 years. And so the multifamily, we wound up buying an apartment, a 37-unit apartment building in Arlington from a CPA. He was a CPA and he said, hey, my client's got this property and they need to sell it. Could you please go look at it? And so we did. Took us about maybe 90 days or so to get it all closed and everything. And that property for the longest time was fantastic cash flow. And it's now less than a mile away from Cowboy Stadium. And so when Jerry Jones was announcing that the AT&T Stadium was going to be where the AT&T Stadium was, we were at an event with Jerry and I went up to him, I shook his hand. I said, Jerry, thank you for the $2 million you gave me. And he goes, what do you mean, boy? I said, $2 million in appreciation in real estate just because I bought a building 3 blocks that way and you're putting it right here. And Blue Star Development Company kept coming and calling us, trying to get us to sell. And I'm like, that's my retirement income. I'm not selling that. Are you going to that's taking millions of dollars away from me in the future. And all that being said, that's even growing. That's the beauty of this business is that you have to play the game. You got to own the real estate and let the appreciation happen. We've always played for the long haul. The thing that happens now with the investors, it's a 5-year forced appreciation, whereas before I was letting the market appreciate and just ride the market. And so I think of it as surfing. We're surfing either the big waves in Honolulu or we're going to surf the small waves of Virginia Beach. And that's the difference is right now is the big waves are the bigger numbers. And so that's my transition. That's what I see now right now is that's got to be our focus because we're not getting any younger.
No, and I think that perfect timing is happening to us in the sense that it's time for us to pivot. It's time for us to do bigger and better things. It's time for us to redevelop some of our properties. And that's what we're doing with our 2 commercial buildings. So the expectation, I think, is grand. And so we're excited for a new venture, a new baby to come to birth.
Totally. And I told you, I sent you some floor plans of what that one project that we're doing. And right now, just because the state legislature mandated a new change, and so those have been on here may have seen this before, the SB 840 bill in Texas was mandated. Our office project properties were mandated under the SB 840 that was approved by Governor Abbott. Basically said that any of those properties could go commercial or multifamily, meaning that we had the ability to develop any office zoning into multifamily. And what we're doing with BOSS office centers, BOSS meaning business office specialty suites, that's really what BOSS office stands for. But it's basically like Regus with a major twist to it and makes it a lot more what I call sexy, savvy, suave, got a little bit more Latina flair in it. But the point is that now what we designed in what you have in pictures, it's not big enough. Because now we have to build, the city has changed the building codes. So unbeknownst to those who don't watch the city council meetings, now we got to go 6 stories, not just 4 stories. So now we got to go bigger. And so our plan, we've been meeting with one developer that has been doing some EB5 projects, and we're going to make our parking lot now a part of an apartment community, high rise, and connect it over to the office building. And we're thinking and it's going to be high rise pool, restaurant, retail, office, combo, not hotel yet. We don't know yet. The feasibility is not in yet from the bank. So as soon as that feasibility is in, we'll know whether or not it's going to hotel, condo, or apartment. And so those are the things. There'll probably be 200 doors of apartment and about 200 doors of offices for independent entrepreneurs.